Hi, Gina.
Hello.
I'm so excited that I'm meeting you here at this conference.
It's great. It's been a great conference so far, hasn't it?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I remember when I ran into you,
Mm-hmm.
I saw the outline of all the speakers and I didn't see your name.
Oh.
And I just read your book, Quench. And I had a few questions reading that book. And then I get here and I see you.
Oh, how fun. That's
And
perfect
so
timing.
now I know that I would be able to ask my questions. So Gina Bria is an anthropologist, and in that way she's also taking a different view, that's my understanding, on the subject of water, of drinking, of hydrating the body. So, and there are one thing of your book was that you're recommending to drink or to incorporate water in gel-like structures. I remember your chia pudding. Maybe you can just start on focusing on that and then take
it's
it
such
from
a
there.
funny question, isn't it? Why do we not just use water, liquid, to hydrate with? That's what everyone tells us to do. 8 glasses a day or drink continually. I came to a different discovery when I did research with desert communities. So I was looking at desert communities around the globe and all the different ways that they hydrated. And none of them were using liquid because they didn't have it.
Right.
They were using plants. They were getting water out of their plants, like cactus and aloe, even chia seed, which is a desert plant. And the realization that food, the leaf structure holds this more concentrated jelly-like water, like an aloe plant. And that happens not just in desert plants, but even a salad, a piece of leaf from basil, for example, or lettuce. It's high content of water. In fact, lettuce, I think, is almost 94% water. And so we're missing an extremely important source of water when we don't eat water through plant food.
Right.
And what's interesting about that is the water inside the plant structure is already set up to match the human cell. So it's much more absorbable. It's actually more hydrating to eat an apple than it is to drink a bottle of water. I know this sounds strange, but it's actually got another aspect to it, which is the fiber in that apple, or the material of the apple itself, acts like a sponge in the system. And it allows your body to time release hydration instead of guzzling just liquid. So you have to have both. You absolutely have to have both.
Right.
The body runs on liquid, but what we didn't know is that there's a whole kind of water that's a gel-like water that's found in plants. And when you partner those two, they're the perfect hydration system. So we're missing out when we're just trying to drink water to hydrate.
Very interesting, wonderful. In that way, there's another question arising for me, and that is, I'm teaching intermediate fasting. And my big concern or question there is, how do you incorporate eating water-like, a lot of water-like vegetables and fruit and gel-like?
I have this problem too.
So how do you incorporate those two wonderful things?
I also try to limit my eating to hours of the day, and therefore the amount of food that I eat has to be compressed into eating windows. That's typically what fasting is understood. I try to shape that a little bit differently, coming at it from a more anthropological point of view, or a more biological point of view, which is the body itself has seasons just like the earth does. So there's seasons in which our body is open to being fed well, and there's seasons in which the body likes to close down to do other kinds of work, almost like a sleep cycle. So when you limit your eating, you allow time for your body to do different kinds of work across the season of the day, or the seasonality of the body. So then now you have a hydration issue in which you still want to remain hydrated throughout a day, but you're closing your opportunity for using food to hydrate with. So of course you can match that with liquid outside the times you're eating, or if you're eating a very high amount of plant food, you're getting a beautiful volume of hydration in that short amount of time.
Okay.
So just helping us to think a little bit differently about what we're doing.
That's very, very interesting because we are just focusing on drinking water, right? And when you eat food which has a high water content, and there you're saying it's like time releasing. Yes. It's not getting into the body right at once. So it's time releasing.
It's
very
over
interesting.
time.
All right.
Yeah.
And there's another aspect in your book which is very interesting, and that is how important micro movements are that you get the water where it's supposed to get to. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit?
So again, this comes out of looking at longevity traditions around the world, not only desert traditions, but longevity traditions and cultures that move. I'm not talking about marathons. No. I'm just talking about they have a custom of moving throughout the day. And I tried to help people by calling it micro movements. So they could understand that you can sit in your car and be driving and nodding your head up and down. Well, maybe not too vigorously because you're on the road, right? But that you are a entire body of water, of canals and systems and streams and rivers. And as we move our body, this is how nature has planned to move the fluid through us. Okay. Not only pressure, not only our digestive system, but even, of course, the lymph system is the perfect example. When you move your system, you're moving your liquid. And that is delivering water to your tissues. Especially, there's a special trick I like to share with people, Christine, and that is when you twist your muscles, you move your twist in some way. It's almost like a washcloth. You're wringing a washcloth of tissue, and you're squeezing out old tissue, old hydration, and then releasing and pulling in new hydration.
Very interesting.
So every time you're twisting or moving or nodding your head, I'm calling those micro movements. Those do additional work besides just movement. They're actually incredibly detoxifying, and we don't move enough in our culture. We're not climbing trees. We're not sliding down slides. Maybe we don't swim very often. So the more you move in ways you don't typically move, the more you're moving hydration into places of tissue that may be very dehydrated.
That goes along with the fascia work.
Right. Yeah, I didn't mention the word fascia because I'm not sure how widespread people's knowledge of it is. So I just try to help people understand, look, move in ways that you don't normally move. You might be on the phone, you talking like this, or just try to get, how often do we not get our arms above our head? Especially for women, this is a huge drainage area around the breast. We never do. That's not something you see women do very often, right? Not in our daily life. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So reaching for high things or pretending to reach, all of this turns out to be a hydration strategy that you don't normally hear associated with hydration. You just hear drink, drink, drink. But actually it's drink, move, drink, move, drink, move.
Well, thank you so much for your information.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Yeah.